At UYS, we nurture oneness and solidarity in a culture that tells Black girls to compare and to compete with other Black girls. It's important to us that we believe that when one Black girl wins, we all win. When something happens to one of us, it happens to all of us. And each of us have the responsibility of unifying for justice. We reject negative portrayals of Black girlhood and how we relate to one another. And instead, we celebrate the unique experiences of Black girls and our sisterhood to choose to tell those stories. Our Sisterhood, Solidarity, and Oneness conversation is a two-part conversation that includes little sisters, actresses Lyric Ross and Eris Baker, who both play TV sisters on the Emmy Award-winning show, This Is Us, and Shahadi Wright Joseph, who is the voice of young Nala in the 2019 remake of Disney's The Lion King, followed by big sisters Ingrid Silva, internationally acclaimed AfroLatina ballerina, actress Nafessa Williams from the hit Netflix show Black Lightning, and scholar activist, one of my mentors, Yara Shahidi. Both of these conversations will be moderated by Teyonah Parris, who this December will join the Marvel Cinematic Universe as the iconic character, Monica Rambeau, in the highly anticipated Disney Plus original series, WandaVision. OMG, these girls are the epitome of Black girl magic and inspiration. Hey guys!
Hi!
Hi, so good to be here.
I'm so happy to have you guys here for this conversation, and let's get started.
Thank you, Trinity. Hi, Eris, Shahadi. Where are you guys? Hi, and Lyric. Hi, baby. I'm so excited to see everyone. To my UYS girls, I know you just had a very intense session, and so we just want to love on you a bit. Lyric, Eris, Shahadi, the girls just came from a fatherhood session, and it got really intense and emotional. And so if anyone has any words that they would love to say to the girls of encouragement, I would just say that, girls, you have everything you need to accomplish your own healing. And this is a journey. Everyone's journey and relationships are different, but you can heal, and you will heal. And that's something that could go on, that you will have to do throughout your entire life, whether it's with whatever it might be. But yes, I just want to say you're amazing and I love you. Anyone else want to say anything?
I think, just like you said, that you guys are beautiful and that you guys are amazing and that you guys can get through anything.
Yes.
Exactly. I think that with Black girls in particular, having a community of support and love and wellness is just so important to our development. So just know that you're never alone in those kinds of struggles, in any of your struggles, for real.
Yes. Well, that's what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about sisterhood and solidarity and oneness and not being alone in our journeys. So I'm really excited about that. Let's jump in. I want to tell y'all, just jump in if you have something to say. It doesn't have to be so structured. If you want to talk to each other or ask each other questions, please feel free to do so. I want everyone to hear from all of you. So let's just jump right in. How do you define sisterhood? Shahadi, I think your camera's muted.
Oh,
there you go.
Okay.
Yes, how do you define sisterhood?
For me, I define sisterhood as a place, and necessarily like a circle of success and love and abundance, and just a community of, I'm sorry, those are some New York sounds, but some abundance and love. And I feel like that is so important, especially for like the career path that we've all chosen. We know exactly how it feels. Sometimes it feels so competitive. So having that is just, it's really vital, I think, to just mental health in general.
Yeah. I agree. I think sisterhood is a community of women who inspire each other, support one another, encourage one another, and love on one another.
I love that. Lyric, you have anything you want to add?
I agree with both Shahadi and Eris. To me, sisterhood is just a special connection, a special bond that is pretty much unbreakable. Whether it's to uplift, whether it's bring
I
us
think we lost.
closer together and build sisterhood.
Amen. Now, a little
did you lose
birdie
me?
told me. Yeah, you're back now. You're back. We hear you.
Hello?
A little birdie told me that you ladies
Sorry.
know each other in real life and are actually friends. Can you tell us about how you met and what your own personal sisterhood with each other? What's come out of that?
Oh my God.
Okay.
So,
Jump in.
Okay, no, I met Lyric first. I've known Lyric for years now because she plays my TV sister on This Is Us. And Lyric is amazing. She's like my big sister, and she gives me advice 24/7, and I FaceTime her at all the wrong times 24/7. And I just become really close with her, and I love her so much, and she just teaches me a lot. And like that's just an unbreakable bond because I won't get off her nerves. And then Shahadi, I met Shahadi when I went to New York for the first time.
Yeah.
And we were at some event, and we had the same PR, and our PR was like, hey, this is another client of mine, Shahadi. And ever since, like, I've got her number, and I've just been chatting with her, and like she's like one of my best friends now. Like, she's amazing.
Yes. For me, I also met Lyric first. It was when I was shooting Us, actually, is when we first met. And my friend, Lexi Underwood, she introduced me to Lyric because she was in town, and we were like, oh my God, there's like this girl that you need to meet. We're all here in LA, all family. And I also met Eris after that in New York for some press for Us and for Lion King. And from that, I think that this whole community was kind of created, bonding and in this industry. I absolutely love it.
That's amazing. Go ahead, Lyric.
Okay, so I met Eris when I first started filming on the show This Is Us, and it's like ever since then she just
Oh my God.
So we've definitely had, that was a few years ago. So she's always just been that little sister that's clinged on to me, and it's just been like that ever since. With Shahadi, I did meet her through Lex, and it was interesting because like Shahadi is like a really nice person. She's really sweet, but when I first met her, it was it's like, oh, I don't know, but no, it's like she was really cool. Everybody was cool. It was a few of us. It was.
Oh man.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no.
No. But actually, was saying, I think that was the same thing with Lyric. I didn't think that she liked me at first. I think that she has like this intimidating, like resting face. Mm-hmm. So I had no idea if she liked me at first.
So how sure has that?
Yes, she does have that.
If y'all weren't sure if the other one liked you or not, how did you break that intimidation? Did one of you just say, you know what, I'm gonna try, or what happened?
I think that it was like the first day that I met Lyric, and I wasn't completely sure if she liked me or not. And then after that, we like went back to my apartment and we made like, I think that was the time where like Musical.ly was still a thing. So we were like making Musical.lys and or dub smashes or whatever. And so we started to kind of like open up and get more comfortable. And I have a sister that's like basically like Lyric, kind of like, closed offish at first, but once you get to know her, like she like opens up like a little flower. Right. So I completely understand the process.
Well, that's beautiful. And I think it's important for us to realize that everyone is different. And some people, you meet them, they just give you a big hug and they they don't stop. And then there's other people who you have to approach them in a way that it works for them. and for you all to kind of navigate that and figure that with what works for each of you is like, yeah, that's a part of life.
Completely.
So all of you are in Hollywood in this crazy industry. What has that been like for you? Because you're all similar ages or around the same age type, and I'm sure you go out for some of the same roles. How is that? Do you feel like there's been that you've been pitted against each other, and how do you work against that? Or what is that experience for all of you?
Oh, completely. I feel like this industry, or just like everyone in general, is always trying to pin Black girls against each other. Like there can only be one Black girl who can be like the star in the face of Hollywood, when the fact is there is so much room for all of us and more. So when it comes to just us auditioning and getting stuff, it's not like we can control that. It's not like we are, you know, putting each other down. We're just trying to do our best because we're all trying to work out here. We're all trying to make it, you know. There is no, you know, ulterior motive when it comes to that. Not like oh, let's see if I can, you know, beat Eris in this. Let's see if I can beat Lyric at this. You know, it's all supposed to be about love and support. And we celebrate each other for our successes, because when one of us wins, we all win. So,
Like Shahadi said, life is not a competition, and we need to celebrate everyone. And when I see another woman, when I see another Black woman winning, I am so happy, because a win for her is a win for me. And I think that it's almost like a level of like maturity that you have to have when you see someone like winning, and you have to be happy for them. And I think that's at a level of maturity that we all need. We need to uplift each other and love one another and be there for each other, and not be down by each other, like beat other people down, but be inspired by one another and encourage one another, so we can continue winning. It's a space for everyone.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
Yeah, like Eris and Shahadi said, I mean, it should all be love. You know, it shouldn't.
Who phone dinging? Turn your phone off. Ding.
Competitive.
I can't hear Lyric.
What's going on? Okay, my bad.
Lyric.
Mm-hmm.
Is your Wi-Fi on?
Yes.
Because you are just cutting out. Like we're missing all this greatness you're sharing with us.
It is the Wi-Fi.
Okay.
I'm sorry, though. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Okay. Well, hopefully.
I just wanted to make sure we heard what you said.
Oh, okay. So, well, what I said before is, you know, it should all be love. You know what Shahadi and Eris said, like when one Black girl wins, we all win. Like we are a community. So for one huge win, it's like we should all feel that joy and that excitement. And there is a certain healthy level of competitiveness, you know, like I'm a competitive person. I'm competitive with my family, with my friends, you know, and it's not a jealousy thing. It's like when I see somebody doing great, it makes me want to do great, you know? So like it makes me want to grow. That's the type of competitive level that we all should be on, but we still should have that love for each other, that enjoyment, that excitement. So
right. Yeah. Using other people's wins to propel you and to inspire you to work harder, work smarter, and more efficiently. I think that is definitely the name of the game. And I love that you young ladies at this age have embraced that notion that when my sister wins, I too win. And it's just been for myself in the industry, there's been this thing where people are like, oh, you know, just like Shahadi said, they don't want you to talk to each other. But we were even sharing auditions like, girl, did you hear about this happening?
Exactly. I think, what was it? Eris and I literally just auditioned for the same thing. And it was pretty big, pretty exciting. And I was like, okay, if you get this, you need to invite me on set because this particular person I need to meet.
Yes.
I feel like it should always be like that. It should always be positive and always look at the positive when it comes to these things. This is the entertainment industry. This is supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be this cutthroat place, even though it can be sometimes, sometimes, it's crazy, but
you can't help what other people bring to the table, their energy. You can only control what you do and the people you surround yourself with. And that's what's really important and so beautiful about how y'all are moving.
Exactly. All you can do is really just do your best and be as prepared as you can be. When you walk into the audition room, you cannot control what the producers or the directors or the casting directors are going to think. All you can do is just do your best and hope that you get the outcome that you want to,
Exactly. Right. So with this, I know you were talking about like the TikTok and the Musical.ly. No, I said that wrong. But with this idea of social media and reality TV, do you feel that perpetuates the idea of pitting Black women against each other? Or do you think that's a false narrative? And how do you deal with your social media platforms and the energy that brings to you?
I think that reality TV and social media are both mediums that have been used to portray us less than our authentic selves. Like social media is a way where we control the narrative, even if it's true or not. And social media is where individuals put on their best selves, and you only see perfection on social media. And you can't compare yourself because that's not reality, because perfection isn't reality. And I've had this conversation with Shahadi, I've had this conversation with Lyric, because when it comes to social media and when Black girls compare themselves to other people on social media, I want you to know, because from my personal experience, because I do it all the time, you can't do that. And it's unhealthy. And I think that with social media, everyone has a different experience. I compare myself to others, and there's other people who see that they're not beautiful off of social media because they only see one image of beautiful on social media or any other social media platforms. So that's my experience.
Exactly. Somebody just said perfection isn't reality. It isn't. In those reality TV shows, I feel like those aren't accurate representation of what it means to be a Black girl. And not just a Black girl like in Hollywood or in this industry, just in general. That's not, it's not accurate, And like Eris was saying, I do this all the time. I compare myself to literally everybody, and it's not good. It's not healthy. And I know that, but I still keep doing it. But I know that I'm working on it. Okay. Like I'm working on it, but I know that it's really hard, to stop.
When you say you that you still doing it, there is no shame in that. Like, that's honest, and we all do that. But can you share with us some of the practical ways you get out of your head or reverse that narrative for yourself? Any of you, when you get those negative thoughts or that comparison spirit?
One thing that, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, cool. Well, I tell myself affirmations every morning before I start school and stuff. One of my favorites is that today I'm not going to get upset over the things that I can't control. I can't control these things. I can't control, the way that I look or the way that people see me. I can't control the way that people think of me. So I shouldn't get upset over those things because it's a waste of all of that positive energy. It's such a waste, and it does nothing but make me even more upset. And ever since I started saying that to myself in the morning, I've literally been looking at life so differently. I've been just viewing my own standards of what beauty is so differently. I love it.
Yeah. Also, one thing that I've established is self-discipline. And I would delete Instagram and delete Snapchat, delete Twitter, and delete all of that stuff off my phone, because sometimes enough is enough. And I just have to take it upon myself, just delete it and just get it out my face. And that helps me. Taking breaks helps me so much. Like currently right now, it's deleted off my phone. And that's only because I would compare myself to others. And then, you know what? I'm just going to put my phone down for the day, focus on myself. Also, I have a great community around me. I have great friends and family who remind me of how beautiful that I am on the inside and out, who remind me that I am enough and that I don't need to compare myself. So I think having that support system helps me as well.
That's beautiful.
Good answer.
Yes. I love this idea of your tribe and having to be very mindful about the people you keep around you and the people you allow into your energy space and your circle. I think that's very, very important, and particularly for young women in this industry where people try to tell you for sure who you are or who they think you are. I think that's very smart of you women, you young ladies. So good job. You also were just mentioning talking about school. And as we know, you're full-time actresses, so you're also full-time students. What that is a lot. And Eris, you were just saying about discipline, and what has it been like for you to manage school and work? And yeah, what's that like for you?
For Eris?
Oh, for any of you. Sorry, I was like, is there a lag? No, y'all are like, finish the question.
Well,
I'm sorry. No, for whoever wants to jump in.
Well, for me, of course, like, our school system is over Zoom right now, which I am not that big of a fan of. I love communication and interaction, being with my friends and my classmates. And that's how I work, the best. So I'm not a big fan of being on Zoom. But it does motivate me to do well in school, just because I know that if I'm not doing well in school, then I can't work. And all I want to do is just get out of this pandemic and work again. That's like
right.
all that I want to do. So it does motivate me to just keep going and to keep pushing and to keep striving for my grades. And, that's been working for the past couple of months, because I do have straight A's right now.
Hey,
I know, but I know it's because I want to keep my grade point average at a certain standard so that I can keep working and, renew my working permit.
Right. You're like, that's my motivation. That permit.
And I think that's smart. I think it's good to have motivation in life, even if it is, to your own advantage.
Whatever keeps you moving and encouraged, you got to do what you got to do.
Yes.
Eris, were you going to say something?
Sorry, I just got back on. It was lagging a little bit.
Okay.
But when it comes to school, it's sometimes hard to manage school and work, only because I'm taking extra college classes, and college classes over Zoom is really weird. But I have to just keep on encouraging myself to do it. And I'm actually enjoying Zoom right now. I think that I'm in a good place. I think I adjusted to it. And now that I feel comfortable in it, I do think that I'm thriving in school right now. And I just got back to work, and work has been a lot of fun. So I'm actually doing pretty good right now.
Great. Lyric. How's that? Is she frozen?
I think
she's frozen. Okay. Oh,
Okay,
there she is.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. Okay, so we're just gonna go ahead. So what do you feel like as young women, we talked about earlier, your tribe and protecting yourself and your space and your energy. Where do you feel most safe as a Black girl? What space is that, or with whom do you feel most safe?
I think that I feel most safe when I'm at home, actually, with family and with friends, people who show me unconditional love and people who support me no matter if I'm doing right or wrong, in a place where I can honestly just build myself. It's so important to build a community like that. You can just be yourself around others. And I have that with my family and my friends. And I believe that that's where I feel most safe.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's not gonna lie, it's mostly in predominantly Black spaces where I feel the most comfortable. I don't have to code switch. I don't have to put on any type of look that isn't me. I can really just be Shahadi, and I know that being a Black girl, that me just being Black, that is carried with me throughout everything, because that's how the world is going to see me first before they see my talent. So I know that that is something important. But when I'm with, you know, Black people in Black spaces, with my Black family, with my Black sister, it just, I feel like I can really just be me, and I don't have to put on this front. I can just be Shahadi, and I love that, you know?
I do too. For young women who are in for young Black girls who are in predominantly white spaces, what is your advice to them in a way they're like, well, I don't have that ability to be around all Black students or things like that? What is your advice to them on how to manage that, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I have been in predominantly white spaces before, so I know exactly the feeling. I know that feeling of not being able to express yourself fully, you know, not being able to completely be yourself. So I understand that, and it can be pretty difficult, you know? I guess my advice would be to try to be your most genuine self as much as possible. And if somebody or some people or a group of people can't accept that, then maybe they just aren't meant to be a part of your life, you know, because all of that Black essence comes with you, you know? So if they're not going to accept that, then they can't really accept you. Then maybe they shouldn't be in your life. Maybe you shouldn't be hanging out with those type of people, you know? Yeah. And I know, especially for like predominantly white schools, I'm in a predominantly white school right now. I know exactly how that feels. And I know that feeling of relief when you get home to your Black family and you don't have to do that anymore. So I completely understand. Just know that it really does get better, and you're not alone in that.
Is there a way to, like you said, to remain your authentic self? Like, is there something you tell yourself, or something practical you do to remind yourself that, hey, I don't have to switch codes? Or, you know, sometimes you might catch yourself in the middle of it, like, I'm not going to do that right now. And like, what are some practical things the girls can do or manage to be able to stay true to themselves and stay, to not fall into that code switch or feeling like you have to put on a show for somebody?
Well, from someone who's also usually are in predominantly white spaces and have been to predominantly white schools, I've tried to like fit into the crowd and try to cover myself. And I think the main thing is my mom had to remind me, you're enough, and you are Eris, and you are beautiful. And if people don't like you, then they don't need you. Just like Shahadi said, actually, this is what my mom did. She put me in spaces where I could be seen. And when I wasn't at school, when I came back home and I was with my family, and I also had to find a community for people that would accept me. But my advice when you are at school is probably just to let your light shine. That's what I always know. And just to know that you are enough, and to always be yourself. Because eventually when you start being yourself, you're going to find someone. And I hope that is the truth, because I found someone. I guess that's like my advice.
That's great advice. Thank you. Lyric, did you want to jump in here?
Man, well, what I can really say, because I know I've went from, you know, a predominantly Black school to a predominantly white school, and it was that transition was a little crazy to me, because, you know, just being in the space where, you know, we were pretty much, we weren't family, but it was like I was comfortable. I was in a comfortable place where I could be myself all the time, and being put in this other place where it's like, oh, I don't really know how to act. What are you supposed to do? How are you supposed to say this? And I had to bring myself to a place where, you know, I just have to let these people know who I am. Like, this is who I really am. And I mean, if y'all don't like it, y'all don't like me, that's fine. I'm good with that. Like,
right.
You have to be yourself. That's what makes you the beautiful person that you are. You know, God created you this way for a reason, you know, whether it's to bless somebody else or just for you to bless many people in the nation, you know. So being yourself is the right path to go. You being somebody else is so draining. It's so draining to be somebody else. So the easiest thing for you to do is be truthful to who you are.
I think that all of you, that's beautiful advice. And even myself, I know when I got to college, I found myself embarrassed by or made to feel less than because I was country. I had not seen anything. I was nothing. So I had a bit of a culture shock, and people who had already seen those things, understood these things, made me feel less than, and I had to work through that. And it's so I say that, I offer that to say you're dealing with it in middle school, high school, college, and even in the workspace as you get older. And I think that's great advice to just tap into, which is just be yourself. It'll be okay. Hi, Yara.
Hello. I've been watching backstage and just loving this conversation.
Oh, thank you. I'm very excited for you to jump in and for us to all chat it up. I know here we go. Ingrid, hello.
Hi, guys.
Hi, beautiful. And we have one more, Nafisa. Is she here yet? Well, we can just continue to talk if that's all right with everyone. So there's so many things that make us special and unique. And what, for the young girls, tell me how important it is to be a Black girl over the other things that make up who you are. Like, why is being a Black girl so important? And anyone can jump in. Go ahead, Shahadi.
For me, I think that it's extremely important, especially since I'm taking that aspect of myself with me wherever I go. And even if I get a role, that Blackness is going to make the role who she is, you know, even in the subtext, even if it doesn't show that way, that's going to be the aspect of who the character is, you know? So I feel like it's extremely important, and I feel like it resonates more with me than any other aspect of myself. And that is what I need to maintain a lot, especially in this industry. But I kind of love it. I love it so much. You know, because it's what makes me unique. It uniquely you. And
yes.
I feel like that is probably the most important part of myself that I want to maintain. That's it.
I love that.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with everything you said. I know for me, I always feel lucky for the lineage of really incredible Black women that I come from, who have proven just in every industry the power and strength of our community. And I also have to say, I feel really lucky to be in the industry at a time that we're in now, where I'm lucky to know all of you, whether it be in passing or personally. And I think to even be a part of a group and a community that understands the importance of uplifting one another, I feel like it's really apparent, especially in the community of Black women in this industry, in a way that it may not necessarily exist for other communities. And so I'm grateful to even be a part of a community that's aware of the strength of coming together.
Yeah. For young women who aren't in the industry and don't have this sense of community, what is a way for them to practically find that for themselves? They're like, I'm in tech space and I'm the only Black girl. What do I do? Like, where do I find this community? Does anyone have any thoughts on that? Like, if you didn't find your community in your actual field? Ingrid, go ahead, please.
Yeah. I think because I am not an actress, so I'm in the other side of it as a ballerina. And in my field, it's really and extremely hard to find one of us, two of us. And it's so imperative that we normalize that, because everyone has talent and deserve an opportunity. And we shouldn't be judged by our Blackness and how our heritage come with us. So I always feel like when I first started at 8 years old dancing, racism didn't appear to me until I went to different neighborhoods. You guys were talking about joining different schools. And that's when there was a cultural shock, because it was like, wow, I'm not around my friends or people that look like me. So I think one thing that I would say that's really important, always have your family and friends and whoever supports you 100% guiding you through your journey, because you will need them whatever you go. And to me, my transition was coming from Brazil and living in New York, speaking no English, but with the dream to becoming a dancer. And now I have a whole full circle, I am a mother to be very soon.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you. And I can't wait to raise my Black girl, as strong as you guys are, and myself, to know her place in the world, because it's really important for us to stand our ground and know where we come from and know why we are here. So I know that in few spaces, it's just one of us, two of us, but there will be so much more. I think it's beautiful when it's at least one. You know, that's a big start.
Right. To be the first, and like that is amazing. I mean, you, Ingrid, have been the first Black Brazilian ballerina to be on the cover of Vogue. That's huge. Your point shoes, the Smithsonian put them in the African American Museum. That, like, the strides you are making, you just in yourself and what you represent for young Black girls all over, it's just so beautiful. And like you said, it takes one, you know, and where all of you are that first one in a lot of ways. And I just want to applaud you for that. What does it mean for Black girls to take care of each other? Like, can you share a way that you put your sisterhood in action in your own lives? Like how you see your sisters and care for them? And I'm gonna switch to the Ingrid and Yara just to make sure we get some of you ladies in here. So little sisters, y'all hang tight. If you're burning and you want to jump in, sure. But I'm gonna talk to Ingrid and Yara right now. So yeah,
I think for me, it was just my surrounding, like my family members. I think one of them mentioned how strong family is as their backbone, and I've always had aunts and grandmas and people who were always there for me. And whenever I felt not uplifted or scared, or in my first situation that were like, oh my gosh, but can I do this? Why am I, not believing in myself or thinking that I'm not worth enough? That's when they come in. That's when that circle, that it doesn't have to be big. Do not worry about having way too many friends. Have 2 or 3, but if they got your back, that's all you need. And I think sharing and having empathy for everyone's story, like judging less, maybe the situation that they have lived, you haven't yet, but if anything happens, how to leave that situation as well. I think also supporting and listening. I think it's missing a little bit now. We have so much technology. We have so much going on. We miss how to talk to each other and to really hear.
Yeah. Well, I think building off of what you've already so beautifully said, I know in the conversation we've talked about support networks before, and so many lovely points were made, but this is a space where I really take a note from my own mother and the lessons that she's taught me about how to pour into others. She is somebody who is extremely attentive, and the gift that she gives is really her energy truly to everybody she interacts with. The ways in which she will pour into somebody, whether it is a 2-second conversation with another Black woman or whether it is a lifelong friendship, is something I'm constantly taking note of. And it's something that requires practice, but to see the ways in which she is able to effortlessly continue to expand the community of Black women that she is of support to, and vice versa, who are of support to her, comes from that level of caring. I know everyone is in completely different circumstances, which also means we have things to offer one another that are particular to us, and that makes it really exciting. And I do have to say, as a 20-year-old in the world, I'm still trying to figure out the practice of like actively cultivating friendships, because I'm going to be completely honest, I can go off the grid sometimes when I'm feeling overwhelmed. And so I'm trying to even break that practice in myself, because I know the love that I receive when I'm open with the world, and also the love I have to offer when I am of support to other people. And so I say that as really a caveat to know that it's never a perfect practice, but it is so rewarding to be of a community.
Right. And I think that's great that you're the self-awareness. You're like, I know I disappear and y'all don't hear from me for 2 weeks, but I'm working on it, you know, and that is a step forward. And I've met your mother. She is a wonderful woman. And you two actually just launched your own production company, Seventh Son. Your partners. Who gets to be business partners with their mother? That is amazing. Can you tell us about how that came about? What's that been like? And you launched a business in the middle of a pandemic. Like, talk about fierce.
Well, what's funny is that we announced our production company a year after already having it up and off the ground. But it was important that before we let the world know, and we actually had shows that were being sold and that we were in the development process. But you know, I love being a partner with her. Of course, our mother-daughter relationship comes first. For the folks who don't know, my mother, Yara Shahidi, also known as Chocolate Mommy Love on IG, is my best friend and business partner. And the thing is, we've been partners in so much prior to this because we are basically the same person in different bodies. But also, I think it's because we hold each other accountable. We know the goals that we've set forward for ourselves and the impact that we want to make. And so it's been beautiful to be in a space of production because it's no longer limited to the stories that I can or cannot tell on screen, but it's really, really an act of collaboration to be in a space of production because you're constantly engaging new writers, new directors, voices who have been overlooked. And this is where our passion comes in for this space because our job is not to create a ton of shows with me in it. If anything, it's the opposite. It's literally been looking to break apart these studio systems that have kept us, in particular, Black women, out because they have such an arbitrary sense of the criteria that we have to fit. And you know, it's the cycle everyone talks about of in order to have this opportunity, you have to have the resume, but in order to have the resume, somebody has to give you the opportunity. And so to be able to together advocate for writers getting executive producer credit, to be able to say, hey, they may have what you consider an unorthodox background, but we believe in them and invest in them, has been such an incredible process.
Wow. I think, saying, you know what, we don't see ourselves represented in this space, so we're going to do it together. That is beautiful. And then literally, we can't talk about Black women showing up in spaces where they're not represented without talking about Kamala Harris, who literally was like, I don't see us here and I'm going to go for it, and has become our vice president-elect. Why is it important for us to actually physically be in these rooms where it happens, where these things happens? And what does it mean for you to be, for in your lifetime, to see Vice President-elect Kamala Harris, a Black woman of Jamaican and Indian descent, up there?
Yeah.
I think for me, it was really beautiful to see how did that all came together. I had no idea that her family had immigrants background and Black and Latina, and living in New York, which is like a huge global part where everybody comes from, and it's so beautiful. But also when we travel with the company, Dance State of Harlem, where I dance, you see so little of us. So I heard speaking and talking about, for every single one of you that have never seen yourself here, don't worry, I'm not going to be the first, there will be more. It was so enlightening to hear that and believe that there is a space for us. And I think it's really beautiful, Yara, that you open a space for us with your mother. That's so powerful, And I think if more of that happens often, we can normalize the separation and don't see each other in spaces that we also belong.
Yeah. And I know with Yara, you also are very vocal about Black people and people in general, but getting out here to vote. Why is it important that our young Black girls use their voices in the political scheme of and use it activate their civic duties? Why is that important?
Yeah. Well, I really have to start with, as a history nerd, kind of turning back to the history of movements. Black women have a track record of really coming in to save the rights of all people. It is a gift that I think this nation has gotten, oftentimes undeserved based on the way it's treated Black women. But when thinking about something that Audre Lorde, I was reading the Combahee River Collective, which is a group of brown and Black feminists. And the one thing they said that I think rings so true is that when Black women are free, everyone is free by proxy. And so thinking of the power that we hold in ourselves, thinking of the way that we not only care for ourselves, but care for other people, I feel like it is one of the most important political voices to have involved in our politics. Because so often there are politicians who are not of certain identities who are able to make decisions about people's well-being and livelihood from a place of theory, from a place of what they think is best, but not from a place of lived experience. And, you know, I'm a super voting advocate, but I think there's so many ways to be civically engaged. I think this panel here represents it as well. So, I mean, I'd love to hear from Lyric, Shahadi, and Eris, just as people who I feel like your work represents what civic engagement looks like, because it happens beyond the voting booth. And in the way we show up for one another, in the way we organize with one another, in our art, and so many other spaces.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I know Lyric, Eris, and I unfortunately couldn't vote this year, but we'll be able to vote in the next election, which is so exciting. I never thought that would actually come. But yes, that is so exciting. And I feel like this election has given me the most political education that I've ever gotten, ever. And I really enjoyed the experience, and I really have hope for this country now. Like I actually have hope for, number one, women, Black women, and the LGBTQ community, and everybody else whose rights were literally being held in the air this year. It just feels so relieving, but also a little bit nerve-wracking as well. But I do have hope for just the fate of this country, and for all of the Black girls who are continuing to vote and to, like you said, literally save this election. And it literally shows how powerful your vote is, because of just look at how close this election was. Look at how much power just one vote can have. And I feel so proud to be, you know, on the right side of history.
Amen. So with this political climate and everything we've been going through, and like you said, you three ladies weren't able to vote this year, figuring out, like, how do you move forward? How do you take care of yourself? Like you said, it was nerve-wracking. What are some of the things you're practically doing to ease those nerves, or to say, you know what, today I might not participate. I might drop off the face of the earth, like Yara said, for 2 weeks, figure it out. What are some of the practical things you're doing to stay centered and yet engaged in whatever that looks like for you?
I've been trying. I'm sorry if you hear stuff in the background, but since I can't be able to vote, and how it has been a little overwhelming, like Shahadi said, I have like gained hope, and I think that now that I am hopeful, like almost something like has been lifted off my shoulders. And I feel like not only because of the election, but because of my peers and the younger generation, which I have a lot of faith in. And I believe that we're moving in the right direction. And I think that there's one thing that I guess almost makes me feel a little overwhelmed, is that we have a lot of work to do. And I think after I've been celebrating after the election, I'm thinking we have to continue to be agents of change moving forward, and to move and operate and change, and to educate ourselves and those around us so we can start seeing things moving in the right direction. And no matter who you are or where you come from, and we just need to lock hands and drive the agenda for equality and social justice and reform and so many other things that we need to work on. But like Shahadi said, I am very hopeful.
Did you raise your hands, Shahadi? I didn't see that. Okay.
No, I didn't.
Okay. I want to talk about Ingrid, you co-founded Empower Her New York, and that's an organization and a platform that brings women from all walks of life together and creates a space to dialogue about living authentically according to their own truths. So a question I have for everyone, or anyone who wants to answer: what is a fundamental truth of yourself that you live by, something that speaks to who you are at your core and what you believe has played a part in your success?
Well, first, I think also coming back to who raised us, like our backbone to me has been always my biggest structure. Even to be able to speak in public, to be myself, to wear whatever I want, to cut my hair, to change it all, and being the classical world is still being a Black woman. Speak up when it's needed and don't be scared, because I think most of the times we do get scared. And creating this platform for me, it was a step to not give us a voice, because we already do, but amplify our voices. And that's really important, because the system doesn't give us space. We get scared to lose what we have. And then how do you go by it? So I think creating Empower Her was that first step of making a space that has empathy, that cares about women, that support women. And I think the truth that I live by is, if I am happy with how my life is going, how I'm waking up every day, how I am making a change, it can be very small, it can be anything. But if I'm contributing to a better world, then I am really happy. Because most of the times when you feel like you don't have a voice, you don't speak up that things that doesn't impact you. And we shouldn't be just impacted by so many things and then speak when it's time. If I'm not part of the LGBT community, yes, I'm going to speak up for them in my platform. Yes, I am going to say what I need to say. To my non-Black friends, yes, wake up, say something. Because we're in a society that we live right now. If you don't speak up for your friends and your peers and be united, everybody's suffering. It's just not one person. So I think that's how I live life. Also, guys, sorry, Frida is here. My dog is snoring. So if you hear that, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Hi, Frida. Anyone else want to share their fundamental truth? Anything? Go ahead, Shahadi. Yeah, please.
I know that, like I was saying before, you know, just all of us being Black girls, you know, we carry that with every single thing that we do. And I feel like there's never been any separation between me being Shahadi and me being Black. There's always been a connection to that without everything. So that keeps going with my education, with my work, with everything, you know? And I feel like that is one aspect that I hold to myself all the time, you know, that I always live up to. And we have so many of our beautiful Black women ancestors that have paved the way for us. And that makes me want to strive for even more greatness. So I feel like in a way that really does help me, the no separation, the me just being, you know, Shahadi, the Black girl, even though sometimes people could see that as that's a downer. It really does push me to be my greatest. Sometimes it does.
I love that. Go ahead. Lyric.
Well, for me, just knowing and trying to remind ourselves, and I know this is not just me, a lot of us tend to forget or not even know our abilities and how far we can go. We have so much power in us. We have so much power in us that we have no clue about. You know, this world has been telling us pretty much the total opposite. And so just to understand, know, and walk on, you know, just knowing what we have and what we can do with it, where we can go, you know, that's dangerous. That is dangerous for the world to see. For me, like me being me talking to God and trying to understand, like, you know, acting is what I want to do for the rest of my life. You know, acting is pretty much my baby. When I work hard on it and when I show it to somebody when I'm in an audition, you know, I really want them to like me. I want them to feel me on it and all that. And, you know, sometimes when you get turned down, it feels like the end of the world. It feels like you really don't have anything, you know, and that's not true at all. You know, God didn't make any weak creatures. Not making weak creatures. We are probably the dopest, the strongest ones out there, and we need to act like it. We need to lions, you know. So
I love it. Act like it, own it. I love that. Eris or Shahadi, you want to speak on that?
Yeah, I will. Like Lyric was saying, I know exactly how it feels to really want a role.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm so sorry. Go ahead. I looked at Yara and I said Shahadi. I'm sorry. You had just spoken. But yeah, no, go ahead, baby. I'm sorry. I just answered.
Shahadi thing. I think that's what it is.
I'm so
no,
sorry.
but Yara, you go first since I already said something.
You had already spoken. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so go ahead.
I meant Yara. I'm like, Yara? Shahadi. Right?
No. Well, I resonate so much with what everyone has said. And I think if I were thinking of a mantra that I hope to live by, is that of we don't integrate, we recreate. And I feel like that's what even this panel represents, these spaces represent, what everyone is doing represents, is this idea that for so long, there have been systems in place to make us feel complacent with just being included. And what I think everyone is continuing to realize, you know, we've talked so long about systems being broken, but there's this mass realization that no, these systems are working precisely as they were meant to be. They were precisely meant to exclude certain voices. And so rather than just merely settling with being included in certain infrastructure, I love this move now of saying, well, let's recreate and completely reimagine how we do things, reimagine processes, and push past what we are told is normal or the norm is. And so that is something that we really hope to do. And I think even to take something that really stuck with me in a conversation I had with Dr. Angela Davis was the importance and the power of questioning the most normal, because it is precisely the most normal that people and society at large try and get you to settle with. But when we push what we deem as normal, we create this beautiful space of possibility. And I think everyone has already hit on so beautifully the possibility that is held in Black women. And when we are on the precipice of questioning normal, I believe we can reimagine a world that no one could even dream of right now.
Thank you. And Eris, my darling, before we close out, would you like to give us one of your fundamental truths?
I think that everyone said it beautifully, but I think just knowing that I have a lot to offer and that I have a lot to give, and kind of silencing the voices that don't want me to show all my greatness or don't want me to be the best version of myself. It's really hard to do that because I feel like there's so many people telling, you know, especially the Black woman, that we are not enough and that we can't do it. So to really silence out all those voices and to be the best version of myself and just to be who I am and who God wanted me to be, and be who I was raised, like the Black woman that my mother said, you are enough and that you are beautiful and that you can do anything. And I think that just having that message always stuck by me, just to be who I am.
I love it. Ladies, thank you so very much for coming and spending your Saturday with us. You've just given us all sorts of gems and amazingness. So thank you from myself, from UYS, the girls here at UYS, and the whole team. Thank you so very, very much.